One heart, one mind. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, family. Whatever side of the diaspora that you may be on, welcome to the Mental House. I am your host, Khadijah. The first thing I want to do and get off my chest because I missed it on the last video uh, is to just make a brief comment regarding some responses that I got to video saying that this was not our fight. Bam. That last video or a couple videos ago. I stand by what I said. Meant exactly what I said. I don't scratch where I don't itch. I'm not that kind of person. So what I think is you need to respect my opinion because that's all it is. As they say, opinions are like butts. Everyone has one. I need to respect yours. However, I disagree with it. It's your right to make that opinion. Um, the comment, I think that uh, one of you in particular took offense to, and I can think you kind of summed it up, making it, put it in a Sambo type of, maybe, in other words, that's what I got from it. I got from it that you were actually saying that I was straddling the fence. So I want to make it real clear, just so it won't be any uh, misunderstanding, and the best way I can approach it. To me, any sane and rational person knows that no one wins in war. A civil war, I should say. A civil war, in my opinion, when I say a sane and rational person, civil war, I don't think you really understand what that encompasses. You have family members that have different ideologies, and that means you might have to kill them. You might have a neighbor, yeah. And I just think that to me that's the ugliest form of war. No one wins in war, physical, in my opinion. In my opinion. And what is the aftermath of that? What is the aftermath of war? And that's the perspective that I come from at this season stage of my life. Now, if you would have asked me this 30 years ago, I would have had a totally different response. But that's what time do to you. Just keep living. I didn't ask you, and you didn't say how old you were, but some things tone down, some things take a different direction, some things you don't spin your wheels about. You leave that to the young. So what I'm saying, and I thought I was very respectful, but common sense would tell you if a race war broke out right now, you ask me what side would I choose? Duh. It's obvious what side I would choose. I would choose the black side because, of course, the side has already chosen me. And I can no more help that than a white person can help having to choose the white side because they're white. Duh. Those are the things you can't control. Okay? I would hate to have to fight somebody so close to me. Where is it a family member? Where is it a friend? Um, and again, because of how we think. It just reminds me of the Dr. Seuss book, The Starbelly Sneetches. That's what it reminds me of. And you're just fighting, So anyway, before I go off on a tangent, I hope you get that. And if you don't, oh well, I did my best. But I think I'm very clear that I don't like war, period. And I'm not one of these black people that are saying, "Oh, let's just go kill them all. Kill them all. It's good. It's time. It's time." I ain't got time for that. You know, um, It's almost. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give you another good analogy. You remember the movie Colors? You remember when Sean Penn said, "Ooh, ooh, ooh, let's go run down there and fuck the Bulls." Excuse my language. Let's go down there. And the guy said, "Why don't we walk down there and do them all?" All right. So at this stage, I'm just saying that's my thought. 30 years ago, and so do I call that being a hypocrite? No, I call that is call it being. I'm more evolved. I've just evolved. I've evolved from being in my 20s to now in my 50s. So I hope you understand that because I don't want to spend any more time trying to explain it. Okay, so I want to get back to this Black history because I got to catch up a little bit because I missed the first 2 days, and my goal was to bring a Black history story every day for 28 days. Something that I hope that we probably didn't know in general, and I want to at least expose it for some of you who want to share these stories with your children. All right, that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. All right, and that's irregardless of who you are. Slavery gave birth to capitalism. I'm sure you all know that. The international commercialization of black slavery changed the world and its economic concepts. Okay, the old European mercantilism was replaced by capitalism. Mercantilism meant profiting from the sale of a product. Capitalism means profiting from another's labor. The word factory was first introduced in the 15th century to describe Portuguese buildings that were used as holding places for slaves at points along the West African coast. The franchising concept, as popularly known, was introduced by the English Royal African Company in 1668 to establish a monopoly on the slave trading industry. Like modern-day franchising chains, for a 15% fee, the Royal African Company provided its franchise slave plantation owners with land, supply, slaves, military protection, and a ready market for their raw slave-produced cash products. By the early 1800s, with a renewed interest in the cotton production, plantations that had at least 100 slaves introduced a gang system of work. In the gang system, slaves were assigned work using an assembly line type process that revolutionized the use of slave labor, introduced mass production, and significantly increased productivity. Raw materials produced by slaves fueled both European and America's industrial banking revolution. Okay? It actually was the fuel for the banking revolution. Too many slaves actually starts revolutionary war. Too much of anything can be bad. During the early exploration of North America, slave trading companies across Europe encouraged immigration to America, promising free land and slave labor. Millions of white Europeans departed their native lands in search of the promised riches in a new land. But black slaves shipped into North America outnumbered European whites 6-1. By 1750, in colonial America, the black slave population peaked at nearly 35%. Fearing that the blacks and Indians might ally and subdue the colonists, the Continental Congress pushed England to desist in shipping any more slaves to the colonies. On October 20th, 1774, the Continental Congress drafted the following resolution to end the slave trade. We will neither import nor purchase any slave imported after the first day of December next, which after that time we will wholly discontinue the slave trade. We will neither be concerned in it ourselves, nor will we hire the vessels, nor will we sell our commodities or manufacture to those who are concerned in it. The Continental Congress resolution was a powerful statement, but it meant very little and fell on deaf ears in England as well as with many plantation owners because the massive amount of money that was involved. The colonies desperately needed slave-produced products and wealth if they were going to attract additional immigrants and build a nation. Now, you check out this land grab. So they're telling these immigrants. So when you hear these people telling you, "Well, my parent was they were immigrants and they came from Ireland and they were," don't listen to it. Okay, so don't take that garbage in your head because as you see, they were given land, they were given land grants, they were given slaves to start the wealth of our people. But that's neither here nor there right now. Let me finish. I have digressed. The colonies had a dilemma. They needed blacks' labor to survive and prosper. They feared the possibility of an Indian and black slave alliance which could seize control of the nation. The colonists wanted a manageable black slave minority. A manageable. As white fears continues to intensify, Thomas Jefferson proposed an immediate ban on slavery, but no later than the year 1800. This proposal, the Declaration of Independence in its original form, contained a scathing denummification of slavery. But the delegates representing South Carolina, Georgia, some slave trading New England states, and other slave interests deleted the language barring slavery and again defeated the resolution. Later, when the U.S. Constitution was written, it codified black enslavement and postponed outlawing international slave trading until the year 1807. Wow. Wow. It's very interesting. Okay. All right, let me go. If you like what you hear, please like and subscribe and maybe share. Thank you for being out there. I hope you enjoyed the two little stories that we covered and caught up for the first 3 days, maybe, I think. Or maybe I need one more. Okay, like what you hear, please subscribe. I'll be back a little later right here in the Mental House. Bye-bye.